All rise. Judge Vanderbeek Court is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1039, White case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all may be seated. Mrs. White, what brings you here today?
Well, Judge Bonda, nice to see you again. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. And it's interesting to see you sitting on this side.
Yes, well.
With Mr. White?
Yes, Damien is here today. He's finally back from building that bridge.
Right, but it's interesting that you're here making a request because the last time you were here, his ex-wife was making a request for child support and you gave her such a hard time.
Well, you know, back then I was so blinded by love and a bunch of other things, and now
Isn't that ironic?
Dollar signs.
Yes,
All right, folks, let's dive into another intriguing child support case. Mrs. White steps forward, seeking child support for her 2 children as she and Mr. White navigate their divorce. The judge wastes no time noting the irony that Mrs. White is now on the receiving end of a child support request after previously giving Mr. White's ex-wife a hard time. Mrs. White admits that karma has come full circle, setting the stage for a fair but tense discussion. Let's see how this unfolds.
I believe that I have definitely learned my lesson and karma has definitely come around.
Okay, well, you said it. But continue. What brings you here?
So I would like to request child support for our 2 beautiful children.
Okay.
I cannot send them to school on my own. I don't want to pull them out. You know, they have their friends and they're doing so well, and I would hate to make them change schools.
Okay. And you said that you're paying tuition?
Yes.
Are you paying it or is Mr. White paying it?
Well, when we were together, we were paying it. But, you know, now that I have to find a new job and to subsequent the money that I no longer have coming in, I need his help.
Okay. All right. And how much is tuition?
Tuition is about $5,000 a year per child.
Okay. Per year?
Yes.
Okay. This better be a pretty great school.
Yeah. It's connected to Yale and Harvard.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So, how was the bridge? Because you definitely didn't show up for court the last time.
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm guessing everything went well.
I'm a civil engineer, Your Honor, and I was in Italy for a conference, not the building of the Bridge of Gibraltar.
Oh, okay.
You must have lied to
Well,
me.
she didn't know.
Apparently didn't know that there's a large step up from being housewife to employed.
Oh. I caught that. Continue.
So I'm currently paying the insurance for our children.
Okay. And how much is that?
$500?
$500. Okay. And that's for both children?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Continue.
Now,
Mrs. White lays out her case. She's seeking child support to help cover the $55,000 annual tuition for each of their 2 children, who attend a prestigious school connected to Yale and Harvard. She explains that she's struggling to manage the costs alone, especially as she transitions from being a stay-at-home mom to finding a new job. The judge listens carefully, noting the significant financial burden of private school tuition. Mrs. White also mentions that she's currently paying $500 monthly for the children's health insurance. The tension rises as Mr. White prepares to respond.
I don't understand exactly why my loving wife would think that in combination that we are paying for our children, considering I'm the only one that works. And quite frankly, she does not.
Okay.
And only spends.
That's not
Okay.
true. That's not true.
Ma'am, he's speaking. Okay. So, you guys are going through a divorce. She now is getting ready to work because she's not working yet, right?
From what I'm told, Your Honor, yes.
Okay. And this tuition, is it accurate what she said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. That's a pretty expensive school, but I mean, if, you know, it has its affiliations, I definitely understand. $500 for health insurance, and how many other children do you have?
Just the one other with my ex-wife.
Okay. And then you all have 2 together. All right. And I do have your child support amount. Giving you credit for the health insurance as well as credit for your other children. Your child support amount comes out to $1,391. Okay. Now let me explain to you how that affects you. You're definitely going to have to get a job.
Oh, I do have a job.
Well, you're definitely going to have to continue working that job, because if you notice, his child support is only about close to $1,400. You said tuition is about $5,000 a year per child.
Right.
So after he pays child support, he does not have to give you anything extra. You understand that?
Oh, I completely understand.
And you understand that you will be covering the difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're okay with that?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Mr. White steps up, questioning why Mrs. White expects him to shoulder the financial burden alone. He points out that he's the sole breadwinner and has been covering the children's expenses, including health insurance. The judge probes deeper, asking about Mr. White's income and other financial obligations, including a child from a previous marriage. Mr. White's calm demeanor contrasts with Mrs. White's emotional plea, but the judge remains focused on the facts. The tension is palpable as the judge prepares to make a ruling.
Is there anything further? Sounds pretty straightforward to me.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything further?
Can I just let you know that I do have a legitimate job, okay? Like, I have my own hair care business. It's starting
I thought that was a question for me. Are you talking to him?
Well, I'm just letting both of you know that I do have a legitimate job.
Okay,
you
great.
know, and it's doing pretty
Congratulations.
well.
That is wonderful. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
The judge doesn't hold back. She calculates Mr. White's child support obligation at $1,391 monthly, including credit for health insurance and his other child. The judge explains that this amount covers his basic support obligation, but it won't fully cover the $110,000 annual tuition for their 2 children. Mrs. White will need to cover the difference, and the judge emphasizes that she'll need to continue working to make ends meet. The ruling is fair but leaves no room for excuses, reminding both parties that parenting is a shared responsibility. As the case concludes, the judge reflects on the legal principles at play in Texas. Child support is based on income and financial obligations, including health insurance and other dependents. The judge also highlights the importance of both parents contributing to their children's well-being, especially when it comes to education and healthcare. The episode ends with a call to action. If you know someone in a similar situation, share their story. After all, these kids are raised on child support court, and every decision impacts their future.